Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. Welcome to Author Spotlight. Thank you for joining us for our first episode of 2025. We are thrilled to have Rachel Meyer joining us today. And Rachel is the author of her newly published book, Pip the Bird. So welcome, Rachel, and thank you for joining us for Author Spotlight. You are the first author of the new year, so we appreciate you being with us. And you have written an adorable book called Pip the Bird, about a kind little bird who wants to warn others about the dangers of a lawnmower, right?
Yes.
But in addition to that, you are trying to shine a light on a very important topic within child development, right? So how about if you read the story to us? I'm sure our audience would love to hear it. And then we'll talk about kind of why you wanted to write the story and what you're trying to convey to the readers.
Sure. That sounds wonderful. Yeah. And thank you so much for having me, Elaine. And again, I know this is virtual, so a little more challenging maybe than the in-person interviews, but I appreciate it and appreciate you taking the time to talk with me today.
It is our pleasure.
So this is Pip the Bird, and it is for early speech and language development. Pip the Bird sat in the big apple tree, keeping an eye on his backyard family. A motor went vroom, and he heard a gate creak. From high in his tree, what did Pip the Bird see? The gate had swung open. A man walked in fast with a strange green machine that rolled over the grass. To his right, Mr. Squirrel was starting to scout. "Oh, no," tweeted Pip. "Mr. Squirrel, watch out. Mr. Squirrel, to the fence. Go up, 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 to the tippity top by the red pickup truck." He scurried off quick, began to climb, and he reached the top in the nick of time. The motor went vroom, the machine turned around, and the little brown squirrel was now safe and sound. To his front, Mr. Rabbit sat eating a sprout. "Oh, no," tweeted Pip. "Mr. Rabbit, watch out. Mr. Rabbit, the bushes. Go down, down, down. Dig under the rock and stay deep underground." The man traveled faster with each push, push, push. The dirt all went flying from beneath the bush. The motor went vroom, the machine turned around, and the little white rabbit was now safe and sound. To his left, Mr. Frog was hopping about. "Oh, no," tweeted Pip. "Mr. Frog, watch out. Mr. Frog, to the pond. Go over, 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 to the big lily pad right beside the clover." He hopped and he hopped, hearing go, 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 across the wet grass to where the tall reeds grow. The motor went vroom, the machine turned around, and the little green frog was now safe and sound. Then Pip had a thought, and he started to jump. The apples fell down with a thump, thump, thump. The motor went vroom, the machine turned around and ran over the apples that covered the ground. Bump, 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 pop, pop, pop. Sputter, 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 stop. The man shook his head, put his hand on his hip, stared up at the tree, and he noticed poor Pip. Nearby, the animals started to shout. "Oh, no," they all yelled. "Pip, you have to watch out." But then the man noticed the creatures who hid and realized at once why Pip did what he did. He tipped down his hat as if meaning to say, "Good job" to the little bird who'd saved the day. Pip the bird smiled and relaxed in his tree as the motor rolled off and the gate went creak. Hooray! All the animals cheered for their friend. No zoom and no vroom. All done. That's the end.
So hooray! Pip's a hero, right? He saves the day.
Yes.
And it's a wonderful story in and of itself. But there's more to it, right? What was your purpose in writing this book?
Sure. And you could probably tell, maybe, I don't know, by the way, I've read it probably at least 100 times by now. And I try not to overdo it too much in that reading, but you probably sense some pausing, some
Yes.
emphasis on certain words and things like that.
Yes.
And so I have two kids at home, two little boys who are now 2 years old and 4. And I originally wrote this when my oldest was 2, and he was newly diagnosed with a speech delay when he turned 2. And I had been in speech therapy sessions with him for about 6 months at the time. And it was the height of COVID. And so everything was happening virtually. And so we would read a ton of books with him just over the computer. I'm sure you've heard, Little Blue Truck, Pete the Cat, I Love My White Shoes. And I started to notice these elements that really kind of got him first interested in the story, and second, willing to kind of read along and practice his sounds and his words. And so I just through those sessions picked up, okay, the rhyming, the repetition, not only in those key words, but also I like to call it anticipatory repetition with the way the story flows and the actual plot of the story. And so I have a creative writing background. First of all, it's actually what I went to college for. So I've always been passionate about it. And this light bulb kind of just went off in my head. And I said, well, he loved the beep, beep, beep from Little Blue Truck. And that's really the one thing he would chime in on. And I thought, what if I could write a story with kind of more functional words that were going to help him describe his wants and needs to me? So the up, down, over, push, go, stop, all of those type of words. And he also just happened to be kind of bird obsessed at the time. Because, of course, what kid isn't? I remember being, so interested in these things that could fly,
Oh, yeah.
and it provides such a great perspective for a story because birds can be up high and see things happening. And so, yeah, I just had this light bulb and I sat down one day at my kitchen table and wrote for about 8 hours straight. And that was the start of it.
That's amazing. And that's no simple feat, right? I know from talking with other authors that writing the story is quite a process. And then finding an illustrator and then editing is also quite a long process. So I commend you. It's such a wonderful book, and it's such an important resource for other parents who are struggling with the same thing. What was your biggest challenge, would you say, in writing the story?
So, first of all, the process is I've learned so much. And from the time I wrote the first draft, I didn't publish this book until just this past October, and it was about 1.5 years. So I just kind of dove into the research and, the editing, illustrating, trying to figure out what kind of format would be best. And obviously a lot of things change along the way. But in terms of the story itself, going back to your question, it really was, it's funny because on the surface, this is a pretty simple book, written really for 1 to 3-year-olds for the most part. But it was very intentionally written, trying to put in those functional words in an intentional kind of repetitious way, while also worrying about, when you write in rhyme, you have to worry about meter, so it flows well. And so it was a challenge. I mean, I really kind of struggled over every single word choice in this book,
It's a lot harder
which
than
is funny
people
'cause
realize, I think.
it is.
And I wanted to mention that I think a lot of times rhyme can be forced, right? But
Mhm.
this book flows very, very well, very smoothly. Um, and I think
Oh,
you
thank you. I appreciate
mentioned something important with the anticipatory repetition, right? That's
that.
so important with young children. Um,
Mhm.
and, rhyming and repetition, that's all vital to early
Uh-huh.
literacy. So I think you did a really good job with that as well.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. Um, yeah, and it's been such a fun ride so far, and it's funny the repetition in my head. I actually took my 2-year-old to a story time this morning where they read Brown Bear, and it was such a crowd favorite with the kids. So
Right,
yeah,
right. It
it's
does. It works wonders.
you know,
I mean, we see it every
mhm,
day here at the library with our early literacy classes. Um,
okay.
it's so rewarding to see them if they come on a regular basis. And even if they don't come week to week, you see that growth, right? Where they
Mhm.
start to anticipate what comes next. They start to clap when they know to clap. And then, soon enough those words come too. And they start to repeat it with you or they start to sing with you. So
Yes,
that's
yeah.
that part's so very rewarding. And
Mhm.
I'm sure you feel a great sense of accomplishment too, knowing that you're helping other children and other parents through this journey.
Yes,
Have you enjoyed
absolutely.
it? Have you enjoyed it enough that you'll write another?
Yes, I am. I'm hooked, and so I actually have a second book coming out in probably June. It's not PIP related. It's called
Okay.
Mommy Dash Son Day. Um, so I have 2 boys. It's really about kind of spending the quality time together and cherishing those years when they're
Yes.
young and you're their favorite person.
Yes.
And then I have a concept and a first draft started for a second Pip book as well.
How exciting.
So I'm hoping by the end of the year, Pip 2 will be out.
Great. Congratulations.
Yeah.
We look forward to seeing that.
Oh,
What
thank you.
advice would you have to young readers? Um, those who are thinking about a career in writing, or maybe
Yeah.
if not an author, an illustrator.
hmm
What would your advice be to them?
I would say make sure you really love it. Because, and I kind of, out of college, I actually went into marketing. And so I worked in marketing for about 10 years, and I knew that it would be a challenge because it's a very crowded space. Not only are there new books being released every day, but there's classics that will be around forever and aren't
Yes.
going anywhere. And so I would say first off, make sure you really enjoy it, and this is what you want to do because it's not going to be a huge success or moneymaker off the bat, but you really have to put in the work to get the word out there, to make sure it's the best product it can possibly be, which
I think
also
that's
ties
great
into
advice.
another. Yeah, don't rush the process, because once it's in book form, it's it's printed and it's out there, so you want to make sure that you're proud of the final product.
Absolutely. So we have a
Yeah.
copy cataloged in our library system, but we are here in Bethel Park in the Allegheny County
Uh-huh.
Library Association. And you
Mhm.
are now down in Puerto Rico, correct?
Yes,
So
yes,
you
we are.
originally from Bethel?
My husband is from Bethel.
Okay.
I'm from the Pittsburgh area. I went to
Okay.
Kiski Area High School. It's northeast of the city. But when we come back, Pittsburgh will always be our home. I went to college. I went to Carnegie Mellon in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
My husband went to Pitt, and so when we come home, we spend a lot of our time in the South Hills
Oh,
and
that's great.
visiting family and friends a lot in Bethel. Yeah.
So local viewers can definitely come and check it out from our library. But where can others find this book?
Yes, thank you for asking. It's available on Amazon. It is also on another site called Okie Bees. It's OAKIE Bees, BEES. It's a smaller site for more self-published books. So it's, and it's really geared for teachers. So any teachers out there that are interested, they have lesson plans on there as well that they can download with the books. And then it's also on my website as well, which is just my name. It's just rachelflorencemeyer.com.
Excellent. Okay. So I have two boys of my own who are now grown. So I can really relate to what you said about them, loving you and you're their favorite person, and just cherishing those moments. It always sounds so cliche, but that's my best advice to parents is to just treasure each and every moment and make the most and create as many memories as you can. So what is your favorite thing to do with the boys?
Oh, great
I know they go through their stages, right? So he was into birds for a while. I know my son,
yes.
was into dinosaurs, but then it was Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles.
Right.
So it's fun to go throughout those stages with them. I don't know what they're currently into, but what do you enjoy doing most with your sons?
Yeah, well, I would say anything, and being where we are currently, it's very easy to do this, but just getting outside. We will go to the playground fairly often. My 4-year-old, we actually just got him a bike for Christmas, so we'll go bike riding, staying active. And then I honestly, I mean, maybe this is predictable, but I love reading with them as well.
And
Because
that's
it's
so
just like
important too.
yes, and it's a great bonding experience. They kind of cuddle up with you, and I let them pick the book typically, and yeah, and
Nothing
it's
else like it.
yeah, really, really, it's true. It's the one thing that and of course you don't want to stick them in front of a screen all the time to get them to kind of wind down, especially with boys because they have a lot of energy. Yeah, we love reading together. We'll do that a few times a day just to kind of come back to center. Yeah.
Well, is there anything else you want our viewers to know about Pip the Bird?
I mean, I think I've probably talked a lot already, but I think my main goal was to combine a fun, entertaining story that would capture their attention, because I know, not every child is super interested in books, and they can be picky with the stories that they actually enjoy reading and will sit there and be invested in. So I tried to make it an entertaining story with, characters they would be interested in. And then kind of snuck in these speech language benefits. And
I think
it's pretty niche. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I know. What am I thinking? This is my first book ever, and I'm like, it's been stressful, weirdly. But a lot of fun. And yeah, no, I hope, anyone watching checks it out and likes it enough, because I plan to make it a series. So hopefully there'll at least be 3 Pip stories out there.
Good. I look forward to sharing it with my preschoolers. I do a preschool power story time every Friday. We are working through the alphabet. So every week is a different letter that we concentrate on. And next week is letter P. So we'll be reading Pip the Bird.
All right.
So thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much.
Not only your story, but sharing your time with us today. It was very nice getting to know you. And we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Elaine. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us again on Author Spotlight. And thank you to our author, Rachel Florence Myers. Don't forget to check out her book here at the library, or, of course, order yourself your own copy off of Amazon. We look forward to seeing you next month. We'll be here again with another local author.